Hi everyone, it's Miranda with Multiplicity Crafts, and today I am taking part in a hop. This is a giveaway hop for Christmas gift ideas, and these are gifts that you can do yourself. Now today I'm going to be making some earrings and a gift box to match. So as I'm getting started, I will let you know that I am going to be giving away this pair of earrings and the gift box that I make in today's video. Just comment below for a chance to win. So you can see here I have all of my little findings and my beads in a little tray. This is just a paint tray. And I've got a head pin here. This is what I'm going to be putting my beads on for the earring. So this is the completed earring. I just have one more to make, and so I will show you the process. I begin with a little tiny black bead, and then I space that out with a red seed bead. Kind of frames the bead and looks nice to space them out, kind of helps it set the bead apart from the other one. Then I put on the pretty red bead and then another seed bead to space it. And then you can see there I've got the really pretty shiny iridescent crystal bead. And then I go ahead after that and put another seed bead, and then I think like a black bead and then a couple of other seed beads. So you can see here I'm just stringing those on and making a little bit of a mess there. Kind of wild with those beads sometimes. But anyway, once I get all of those strung on there, I will show you also how I did the hook on the end of the earring. So as I'm finishing this, again, I just want to reiterate that we are having a giveaway hop. And what a hop is that you hop from video to video and you see what all of the designers have made, and you could have a chance to win. I'm making earrings, and my giveaway is open internationally, but each channel will have their own rules. And you can win something different on each channel. So be sure to see all the channels. So I'm just going to put this little hook on there. It already comes with a loop. Then I'm going to use some round nose pliers, and these are just jewelry pliers. And I'm going to make almost like an L shape with that wire. And so you want to come up about 1/8 of an inch or so. And there's not really an exact measurement I have. I just kind of gauge where I would have enough room to make a loop. So I make almost like an L shape at first, and then once I have that established, I loop it on down into like a candy cane shape, I guess you could call it. I kind of bend it back a little bit and finagle it and work with it until it's pretty much how I want it. And then after I get it to the shape that I think is best, which is going to be pretty much like a little candy cane shape, as you can see there, then I'll go ahead and trim the excess wire away and close that loop. You do want to leave enough of the wire up top so your earring will dangle, and so it won't just sit there stationary on your ear. That would look kind of funny, right? So we wanted to make sure it dangles, so we got to have a big enough loop for the earring part that we just strung the beads on to dangle and have some movement. So here you can see I'm just trimming away that excess wire, and the way that I close this is actually with crimp bead pliers. They're meant for crimp beads, but I like them for this because they don't slip as badly. Now my first go at it, I think I do slip, so I kind of undid what I just said, but really they normally don't slip too badly. Just make sure all your beads are scooted down really well before you go to squeeze it shut. Now when you're squeezing it shut, you don't want to add a lot of pressure because you don't want it flat. You still want to maintain that loop. Make sure that you're not squeezing it all the way to where it's completely closing your loop, but that it's tight enough where it doesn't have a sharp wire sticking out the edge. So that's what it looks like completed. And it gives a nice area for it to dangle, and yet it looks complete and finished. They're very easy to make, and I would say beginner friendly, but it just depends on what you consider beginner. But I think they're really easy, so you could give it a try. I made a little earring card, and this is just out of black cardstock, and put my little label on the back, and then I punched some holes in the card with a needle to put my earrings through, and that fits perfectly, and it looks nice for packaging and for when you're giving it as a gift. It doesn't just look like earrings just out floating in outer space. It's like they're actually on something, so it looks a little bit nicer, I think. So once I have that on there, I'm going to make a box, and you could use something like the Cricut Fancy Boxes. This is actually a cartridge, believe it or not. I don't even know, do they make cartridges? I guess, I don't know. I think most of it's digital now, but this was from back in the day when I did use the cartridges, and confession, I still do. But now it's available digitally, and you can make a box that way, but otherwise you can just make it by hand. If you don't have a Cricut, just get a piece of paper, cut it to 8 inches by 8 inches, and put your ruler directly across the paper diagonally to where each corner of the paper is touching the ruler. Make a line in the middle, and then make an X, just cross it over the other way, and make a pencil line. And all you're really trying to do here is just mark where the center of the box is. You don't really want to bear down hard when you're making this X. The reason I am is simply because I'm trying to make it show up on the video. But normally you can just make a really light X, so when you erase it, it will barely be seen. So what you're going to do is take all 4 corners and fold them into that very center point where the 2 crosshairs, if you will, meet. So the X in the middle, the very center of that is where you want the point of your paper to land. So you can see I'm doing all 4 corners, lining that up, making sure the very point is touching that most center point of the X, and then I'm flattening that down with my bone folder to get a nice sharp crease. And so this part's very easy, and I think anybody could probably understand. All we're doing is folding in the 4 corners. It does get a little bit more complicated later, and it's like, oh no, is this going to be too hard to do? But if you just take it step by step, it's really, really easy. And the more of these you make, you'll get better and better at it. So initially, all you do is the 4 folds. Super easy. You're going to have a diamond shape in the middle. That's how you know that you've done it right. So the next step is to fold the corner of the paper up to the line we just made. So you're going to take the very corner of your paper, fold it up to where the point of your paper meets the crease. Oh my goodness. Talking is hard, as Kelly Latavola would say. It is. So anyway, I can't talk sometimes. Okay, so you want that to touch. I think I was trying to say where it touches and meets, and I think it came out meeches. Oh goodness, I'm crazy. Okay, so fold that down. Increase it with your bone folder just to make sure. Now, when you start getting more lines on your paper, it's going to be confusing, like, oh, which one do I fold it to? It's just going to be the outermost crease, so the furthest one out that you can see. So I have that sped up a little bit because you understand after the first few times what we're doing. So then you will have a paper looking something like this. And the final fold we're going to do is the very point of the paper to that crease in the outer part, I guess you could say, like the very first crease that it would touch. Does that make sense? And so fold that in to the very first crease that it touches. Now, you can see there behind my paper, what's that called? Paper, cardstock, that I have a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock behind there. That's just so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm sorry if this drives you crazy. It kind of is me. It's crooked. Yeah, I got that paper crooked. But maybe nobody notices, but yeah, it's crooked. Anyway, we're going to cut. So now get your scissors, and on those lines that lead up to the box, you are gonna want to cut. Oh wow, I'm having a time today. I think it's late. Okay, so I just drew pencil lines there because otherwise, you would not, but I'm just drawing them there so you can see exactly where I'm cutting. It's going to be on that line, and just cut up to where your box base, I guess, ends. cut a line up to the box base. So now we're going to fold the box into shape, but first I'm going to erase the line I made in the center. And this is really easy. Just take the point of the paper and have it facing you, so like a diamond shape, and just roll up the paper, and that's going to make one side of your box. And the one directly opposite, across the street from it, if you will, do the same thing. Just roll it up, fold it, and there is your box beginning to take shape. You can glue these together, but you don't have to. So what you're going to do to secure those is take those flaps that you just cut and fold those down into the box like so, and that will actually hold it in place. If you want just extra security, you can glue that flap down as well. So I'm going to show you again. You just fold it over and then let that little triangle shape just fold into the box, and you have a completed box base. I like to go in with my bone folder afterwards and just crease it, make sure it's nice and straight and everything looks good. And once you're happy with that, you can proceed to do the lid the exact same way. The only difference is the lid is going to be measured at 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 instead of 8 by 8. So that way it'll fit onto the base because it's slightly larger. Now I will advise, if you're going to line the inside of your box or add any decoration inside, like a foil lining or a black lining, you just want to maybe make that measurement 1/4, even bigger than that, so maybe like 8 1/2. So I'm just taking a 1-inch circle punch and I'm punching a semicircle onto the lid, and that way it will give me a little thumb tab, so when the box is closed it makes it easier to open. And I'm punching that on the thinnest side of the paper, I guess you could say, that doesn't have as many folds. It's not as thick, and that way you can punch through it easier. Otherwise it's going to be really hard to get through. So once it's closed, you can see it gives you a nice thumb tab, and it makes it a lot easier because the box is really snug. I mean, it's not too tight, but it will stay shut. So there is the completed box. I did embellish it with some cardstock and a little bit of baker's twine and a tag. This is from the Photoplay paper, and it was, I think, maybe last year, year before, I don't even know, but hey, it's still pretty and I love it, so I just got it this year, so it's new to me and I love it. And I did line the inside with black at the bottom, and then on the lid I did the entire inside of the lid in black, even the sides. So I'll also show you another way you can package this is when you are packaging your gift, whatever it is, earrings or whatever, you can use a variety of things for the inside packaging. And so here I'm going to show you the way I package the earrings. Is I just took some tissue paper and I folded it onto itself several times and just made a little thick fold there, and that way it gives me a little pillow, if you will, to lay the earrings on. And then once I have that folded, I just put that in the bottom, almost kind of like a liner in the bottom of the box. And then when I place these earrings in, they're a little bit long just to lay flat, so I put them at an angle, and I think actually that looks better because when the recipient opens the box, they'll hopefully be still standing up like that. And then I just cut a thin piece of tissue paper to put on top just to give it a finished look, and pop the lid on. Now I will have some completed photos at the end to show you what the earrings and box look like up close. Also stay tuned. Wow, am I from the 70s or what? No, actually not, 80s. Ugh, gave away my age. Anyway, stay tuned until the end, and I have more gift packaging ideas for you and some more HOP giveaway information. Thanks so much for watching.